Welcome to another episode of the Adrienne Ross Show, where sports and culture connect. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I've had a busy day. As I mentioned yesterday, and I believe the day before that, I'm going to be out of pocket for a few days, going to be hitting the road very early. And so I won't be going live for tonight's game. Remember that. I probably won't even get to watch the game because I got to get some rest. But yeah, it's been a wild day of, you know how it is the day before you hit the road. But my day started in a very interesting way. I found out first thing this morning that Dakich of Outkick decided to go after little old me because I called out his take that Caitlin Clark was flopping when JC Sheldon poked her in the eye and Tina Charles gave it to her, Marina Mabrey gave it to her. She's a flopper, she's a flopper, she's a flopper, all the things he said. And I said, he's entitled to his opinion. And I said it was the wrong opinion because it was wrong. I mostly talked about Jason Whitlock, whom I said knew that what he was saying was wrong when he said that Sheldon accidentally hit Caitlin in the face and in the eye, and she was just being overly dramatic and flopping. Jason even went on to say, oh, JC Sheldon, when she went up like that, she was just about to apologize to Caitlin for accidentally poking her in the eye. So I called that out, said he was entitled to his opinion, but I called it out. Dakich didn't talk about him that much, but he decided that he was going to talk about me. And so I found that out because Ak Nation did a video. So someone directed me to his link and I watched Ak Nation's video in which he defended me. Thank you, Ak Nation. Thank you. And also he commented in his video that he knew to Pope B. Frank. You guys know Pope, that he was going to go off on Dakich. And then I watched that video and yeah, he took Dan to the woodshed. Thank you, Pope B. Frank, for your defense of me. And then I saw the video that Marty from Livewire Sports made, also taking it to Dan. And amongst all that, and a little bit of time I had this morning, I was able to see some comments from many of you who also defended me. Thank you, Ak Nation. Thank you, DePoby Frank. Thank you, Marty. And thank you, all of you. And some people sent me emails and messages and some like encouraging me. But I'm not bothered by Dakich at all. I appreciate your defense of me. I say, yes, thank you very much. But I find it actually hilarious that he would find the need to punch down at me. Before I go further about Dan's interesting take, I'm going to play it. So we're going to go over to YouTube, Outkick's YouTube page, to a video entitled Dan Doubles Down. Nice alliteration there, Outkick. Dan doubles down on the internet's hottest Caitlin Clark take.
Flopper. The other day I told you the truth and everybody got mad. What was the truth? Caitlin Clark is a talker, a flopper, and a runner. That means she talks all that. Somebody touches her, she flops. Or certainly the other day, she flops. And then she runs what she does. Remember that Sheldon girl was guarding the hell out of her, hit her in the face. All right. Caitlin reacted great. She should. The girl bowed up. They bowed up. Little girl came from behind, gave her a little bump. Next thing you know, Caitlin Clark acted like she was in the WWE and ran away. You all didn't like that. The little fanboys and girls of Caitlin Clark got mad. Oh, man, there's so many YouTubes. Dakich and Jason Whitlock suck. We're horrible. Oh, bite me. Oh, just shut up. I was watching one this morning. Some lady, AdrienneRossCom. She can barely speak, but she got a nice following. Anyway, whining and moaning. Shut up. She's a talker first, a flopper, and a runner. Seen those my whole life. What are you talking about? Care if some little girl doesn't like me on YouTube? But I do get a kick out of the hate. The hate is awesome. The hate is great. Let's get into the hate. Haters have...
The mess is hilarious. First of all, he might need to go check out my second channel in which I defined hate, because if he thinks that what I said about his take is hate, he really needs to maybe have sat in my English class and learned a little bit of vocabulary and the definitions of words. There was no hate coming from me. I simply said your take was wrong. And since you're doubling down, I too can double down, and your take was wrong. So he feels hated. So he decides to punch down and go after me. Now, the interesting thing about it is that he said, I don't care if some little girl acting like a little girl himself, really, but I don't care if some little girl on YouTube doesn't like me. Actually, I kind of thought Outkick did some good work. I have particular respect for Riley Gaines and the fight that she has had and stood up for women's athletics. So if that's hate, whatever. In any case, the funny thing about it is the insult he hurled, which was absolutely ridiculous. And when I look at some of the comments that I've had an opportunity to look at, everybody's saying the same thing. And that is this. What do you mean she can hardly speak? Adrienne? Like, for real. He didn't believe that either. He can tell when I speak that I take pride in what I say and how I say it. See, I understand how this works. I know what he's doing. Just like I knew what he was doing when he's like, oh, she flopped. And what Jason was doing, oh, she flopped. They didn't believe it. And he also didn't believe what he said when he said she can hardly speak. But he can tell that I speak well, that I'm articulate, and that I take pride in that. It matters to me. And so he went after that. But he then did what he accuses Caitlin Clark of doing. He says that Caitlin talks smack and then runs away. That's what he did. Talk smack, I can hardly speak, a ridiculous insult, ouch, not, and then runs away without any explanation about why he said what he said. I know why he said what he said. Because he was trying to poke the bear. But it doesn't work. It does not work when I know that's not my weakness. Now, if he had said, she's getting up there in age and she can't play basketball like she used to. She's a little chunky. She's got a lazy eye. That would have maybe hurt because there's truth in all of those things. But I can hardly speak. For real? Come on, Dan. Now, I know I don't have to do this. I know it's beneath me to do it, but it's fun, so I'm going to do it anyway. My communication skills, if you want to know, Dan, as if you couldn't already tell, are not lacking. I think I won my first oratorical competition at the age of 14. As some people mentioned in comments, my career for nearly 20 years is in teaching English. People pay me now. People who are aspiring authors pay me now to do writing coaching for them. This is all communications. People pay me to come speak at their events. I've written 3 books. After a successful nearly 20-year career teaching 7th grade English in upstate New York, I had another successful career, which just ended 6 months ago because I wanted to be independent. That's as a copy editor for, I'm sure you've heard of it, Breitbart News. 11 years in the business, and many of those years head copy editor and writer. I don't have a problem speaking. I'm a John Maxwell certified speaker, trainer, and coach, and also a behavior analyst, which is why I know what you said was nonsense, and that by your behavior, I can tell it was nonsense. We'll let that be our little secret. Anyway, Mr. Dakich, I find it interesting that you would punch down. Maybe I should send you a thank you note for giving me that good old-fashioned shout out. I'm a little girl. Maybe I'm acting like a little girl. I don't know. But as you acknowledged, there are many people who appreciate what I do. And it's not hate mongering for sure. Now back to what really matters. And that is, again, thank you to Ak Nation. Thank you to the Pope Be Frank, because as Ak Nation said in his video this morning, which is where I heard what Dan Dakich said, he said the Pope Be Frank is about to go at Dan Dakich. He sure did. So thank you, Ak Nation. Thank you to Pope Be Frank. And then I saw a video also from Marty at Live Wire Sports. Thank you, Marty, as well. And all of you who just said on different channels, I didn't get to see all of them because it's been a wild day, busy with packing and all those other things and shopping. But the comments I saw was incredible support. Incredible support that really blew me away. I really, really appreciate it. And again, it tickles me that everybody was like, she can't, what? She can't speak. What? And other people are like, oh, no, you just did the wrong thing. And I'm not asking anybody to unsubscribe from Outkick. I'm subscribed to Outkick, but I just find it funny. But, he did acknowledge that good following, nice following, whatever, because that's what you guys have done, even when we don't agree. And I don't agree with I don't even agree with every person who did a video on me today about everything. Sometimes I disagree vehemently, but hey, they stood up and said, listen, like Agnation said, oh, they act like they're better. They act like they're better. That's how it is sometimes. But I appreciate that support. And I got to just comment on DePoe Frank, because that really irked him. It really upset him. And so he had sent me a text and he was like, I apologize that I went in like that. I apologize for the language like that. But nah, that can't happen. And he and I as well, like, we don't agree on everything. Not every Caitlin Clark content creator is going to agree. I don't agree with even those who came to my defense today, did a video about it, about the Dan Dakich nonsense today, called it out. I don't agree with everything. Sometimes I disagree vehemently, but they said no. And that's maturity. Even when you don't always agree, you can have discourse that is respectful. And I got to tell this story because I know he wouldn't mind if I tell it. And that's DePoe Be Frank. A couple weeks ago or so, we were at it. I mean, like fighting, text message, going at it. I mean, boom. I'm like, and he's like, well, oh yeah. And it was back and forth and back and forth. And I'm like, I gotta go. I'm done with this. And it was like, oh yeah. And did we come to a total agreement? No, not really. But when it was all said and done, it was like, I said at one point, I'm like, I want to be mad, but what you said right there has got me, I'm trying not to smile, but I can't help it. And he's like, yeah, me too. And so we had it out. We went back and forth and back and forth. And when it was all said and done, he was just like, we're fighting like husband and wife. And I'm not, no disrespect to his fiance or anything, so I'm not insinuating anything, but that was what he was saying. He's like, we're fighting like husband and wife. And he was like, internet. And that's what he said on the video today about, that's my internet wife. What are you doing? That's just talk. But the bottom line is, when it was all said and done, it ended sort of like this. Well, I love you. Well, I love you too. Well, God bless you. God bless you too. And he just hashed it out, And so for him to stand up for me, a little bit more colorful, he knew that I would say that, a little bit more colorful than I would have, I would have recommended. But the spirit of it, to stand up, and then obviously Ak Nation as well, and Marty as well. I appreciate that. And all of you left comments or sent me an email or direct message or anything like that. But I'm so thankful. I'm not worried about Dan Dakich. He shouldn't be trying to attack my communication skills. What he should be doing is giving me a call. Anyway, that would serve you better, Mr. Dakich. Nonetheless, no hate involved, sir. But I maintain Caitlin Clark did not flop when she was poked in the eyeball. I'm not saying she never flopped. I mean, part of basketball is to know how to draw offensive fouls, draw fouls. Sometimes you got to do a little something extra because, well, if you're watching the game, you know the officials don't always do their jobs. But I don't see a whole lot of flopping from Caitlin Clark, and I certainly didn't see her flopping on that play. If you consider that hate, God bless you for some awareness, maybe. Any case, enjoy the game tonight. I don't know how I'm going to keep myself from watching it when I need to be resting, but I got to figure out a way. I hope to be able to pop in and out on this channel and or the second channel, Adrienne Ross Squared, while I'm away for several days. And if you're not subscribed over Adrienne Ross Squared, make sure you do that. And I will catch you next time, God willing. God bless you abundantly.